Pod in the City is a Sex in the City podcast and thus contains adult themes and explicit content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Pod in the City. I'm Amanda.
And I'm John.
We're two besties who bonded over Sex in the City in college.
And now, 20 years later, we're reliving it like it's our very first time. Ooh, what's this? And just like that, season 2, episode 4, alive. Carrie gets an offer.
7.
Carrie gets an offer to write a column for a seniors magazine. Charlotte and Lisa celebrate the start of camp and their child-free summer, and Miranda navigates life back in NYC.
Look, I'm doing Carrie's face.
It's
great picture.
It's almost a beaker. This photo is called John was running up to the last minute and work freaking out and doing this at 8 a.m., which I know, friends, two people. Now, guys.
It's actually 10 a.m. now for John, just so you know.
I would like to preface, I have worked jobs where I've had to be there at 7 a.m., okay? So I'm not not completely whatever. But now, waking up at 8 a.m. to watch an episode, to take notes on an episode of And Just Like That where Harry can't jizz, it's an abrupt way to start your morning. How about that?
I'm excited to talk about that, though, because I have experienced that twice now.
With older men, or
no, with like regular men. Well, we'll bury that later in the episode, though.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Hi guys, welcome. It's Pod in the City. I'm John. This is Aminata. And you'd know that if StreamYard didn't change the way we put our... Anyway, now you know. We're so happy to have you guys here. Okay, first things first.
Okay.
If you're watching this on YouTube, please watch for a little bit longer, okay? And then hit like. Also,
leave a comment.
Please leave us a comment. What I'm really liking about our episodes is we build audience. It's not necessarily like you need to like be immediately watching it, like we have people watching the old episodes. It's really fun. And people saying that they're binging along, or like they've been binging Sex in the City and they're so glad they found us. And I'm glad you guys found us too. And hopefully we don't bug you too much. The funny story is we hit 800 subscribers on YouTube. Then we got up to 811.
12.
Okay?
We were at 812 at one point.
Okay, 812.
A great shining moment.
And then one of our lovely listeners, one of our, tried and trues, Jay Schwa, commented, ooh, 811, woohoo, or something. And I commented back, well, now it's 810. And guess what? At time of posting or time of recording, it's actually 809. So
we lost another one.
Maybe some Amanda convinced some people to subscribe, and then oh wait, we're back to 810.
Okay.
Baby,
We're good.
Thank God, because that's majorly embarrassing if we're even lower than
we just got
my
comments from 2 different people. We're doing good.
Ooh.
See, the full moon has risen.
Yes, guys, the full moon has lifted, and I think that I'm glad you guys are here. Subscribe, like, if you're just listening, we love you too. Thank you so much. You know what we would love is, could you also, if you're just listening to our podcast, hit follow and hit subscribe on it, because you might not be following us. I don't know right?
Yeah. And then also join us for the weekly roundups every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, especially if you're on Patreon. Oh my God, you guys, like, clear your schedules, call in sick, say you had COVID like Carrie does. And tune in today, because today is Halloween, All Hallows Eve. And we are going to be dressed up, and we're going to look insane.
Oh yeah, technically, I guess the only people who are gonna hear, like, have heard this in time would be the people on Patreon. Speaking of,
we still can't say what we are in case people are listening beforehand.
Yes.
So you'll get this, but yeah, it's gonna be
I will say, last night I spent a little bit of time practicing.
All right.
So that I could try I did some tests. I tried one side and thought, okay, is this the look I'm going for? And then I tried the other side, and then I thought maybe this is more on tune.
I
So
need to
just
work
saying.
on. Ooh, I can finally talk about it on some podcasts because this will drop after it happened. I need to try to figure out how to do a goatee because, as everyone knows, I'm going as Cody for
I
for
really
the
think you
thing.
should get a lace front goatee piece that you get
I'm not
on.
doing that. That sounds expensive, but
No, I bet you it's less than $10. Okay,
no, I don't
sorry.
want to wear that the whole time. I don't want to wear that the whole. I wore a fucking mustache all of last year for Vagina Daddy, so I'm drawing on.
This
But look, I have work
boy,
gloves, and then here's the wig.
this isn't a spoiler, but the wig that I got was only $10.
Oh, this is
Wow.
$24, but this is a good wig. Hey,
For Cody, are you gonna piece it out? Are you just gonna have like the like
no,
tendrils here with the like chunk in the front?
I'm gonna
Because
see.
he
Like,
does
this
have
is what it's on.
tendrils.
Yeah, like he has like two. He has like two. It's like there's like a big, huge spot here that's
Yeah.
bald. So, but I don't want to ruin the wig, so
No,
maybe
no,
I'll
no.
pin it. I don't know, but I gotta figure that. I
You
gotta
need to
figure
do
it.
some
I mean, it gives
practicing.
the
Just
idea of it,
I
right?
did a test run too last night, and
I just wear this all the
no,
time.
people tune
No.
in. They're like, "Wait, interesting." I don't know. I'd take it off.
Wait, I also have. Oh, but look at these sunglasses. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna try this in real time. Shit, where are they? I have
Okay.
sunglasses. So like, if I like wear these, like I wear them like this, right? It'll look better.
Oh, I thought you were gonna have a hat on.
No, I was gonna do a
Oh.
visor.
Oh.
Either way. Okay. Well, anyway. Well,
Okay, guys.
you'll all have seen it.
In case you forgot, this is a Sex in the City podcast, and we're here to do it just like that. We kind of forgot. It's episode 4. Exciting things happening. What I was gonna say is tying all that together. Okay, let's do a moment of
Clarity.
all right. We do have a Patreon. Okay, so if this is about what happens on the Patreon is just like
Shenanigans.
stupidity, like stupidity. So check it out. It's patreon.com/pod in the city this week. So what we kind of do over there is we do about 40 minutes of bullshit and then we do an episode. And this week we watched Broad City. It's season 2 premiere, baby.
Hell yeah.
It didn't really feel like a
and
premiere,
they
but
got some stars now. We got Kumail Nanjiani and Seth Rogen was like, "Hey, Seth Rogen, what are you doing here?"
Kumail Nanjiani before the like steroided.
Yeah,
You know, his thing now is like he's
I know.
huge and like buff and stuff. And
He's a
in here, he's
two-time
like,
Doughboys guest, Joan. Of course, you knew that.
anyway. One day Amanda might get to be on Doughboys. Wouldn't that be amazing? That'd be
I
such
could
a
never do it.
crossover.
There's no way I could do it. I would be so annoying because I would be way too fangirly.
Do you think that if you met Nick Weiger, is that it?
Wags. Yeah.
Weiger? Is he like single?
No, he's been married. He he eloped in Vegas. I can tell you the whole story if you like.
No, thanks. So anyway, check that out. Patreon.com/pod in the city. Because $6 a month, we have fun over there. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can also subscribe as our a member. It's not
it's the same thing with Patreon, just you can watch it on YouTube and it's the same thing. Exact same, you get the exact same thing here, same price too.
You
and you can also join us for $1 and just be blind support. Ooh, John's drinking at Starbucks. How bougie. Let's get into some news and gossip.
Technically, I think we're supposed to be boycotting Starbucks, but I don't know. It's hard to keep up at this moment.
I know, right? Who are we mad at this week? Okay.
You want to run this show? This part?
Okay. Yeah, sure. I just found some pictures. We kind of haven't been doing a lot of pictures lately because
these episodes are so fucking long that it's like I want to get into the episode.
Yeah, but I did find a couple that I thought were relevant to the stuff that we talk about. So first, let's do. Okay, so here we got Carrie in this dress. I love this look.
So they're still, I guess, filming season 3 because Carrie is up to her hat business again. She's wearing a tutu. It's an interesting look. It's fine.
I love it. It's like a burgundy kind of wine colored. And
It's better than some things. And then she's like walking out of a place carrying pies.
oh
Those are
yeah.
pies, like
Ooh.
in like pie carriers. It's very
Yeah.
cute. And it's a whole video from one of our favorite Insta accounts, just like Sex and the City.
Okay, so there's this, but then I thought that you'd enjoy this. It's Lisa Todd Wexley just as Boo Boo the Clown, Bobo the Clown, Boo Boo the Poodle.
Lisa Todd Wexley is wearing a bananas and pajamas outfit here.
No, like it's
Do you
really
even
bad. Like I get it, but like make the jacket oversized and then the pants fitted or opposite,
How about the
right?
pants oversized with like a small
Fitted
top?
top.
This
That would look
woman
cute.
is this woman.
She's dressed up.
They
She's ready for Halloween.
I don't understand. They want to ruin this woman. They hate her on this show. I swear to God, they hate her because like from what we've seen so far. If you've listened back a few weeks ago, from what we've seen, they've been putting her in some more form-fitting outfits. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying you need to be in something form-fitting to look good. But like, if I looked like Lisa Todd Wexley, you better believe I'm not running outside in a freaking potato sack looking pajama situation. This literally looks like an outfit you would get thrown at like a spa somewhere to wear, getting ready for them to give you a massage. It's horrible.
Okay, so then there's these two pictures of Harry and Charlotte filming. But I thought these were interesting though, because in both of these scenes, they have Richard Burton and they look perturbed. Like they're actually filming her, so they're walking.
I think Harry always kind of looks like that, but
okay, but look at this one. Because
oh,
she's
okay.
like
Charlotte looks
here.
like she's crying. So in this photo, Charlotte looks like she's crying. Harry's like holding her hands, looking like he's like being like,
pleading
"It's okay, it's okay." No, I think this could be about their kids.
Oh, did they
Charlotte
figure
could
out
be
that
like, "I'm a bad mother."
child Rock is a total fucking asshole? Is that what they're figuring out in this moment?
Charlotte's like, "I'm a bad mother," and Harry's like, "You're a wonderful mother. You blah blah blah. You're a
Yeah, that
wonderful
probably is
mother."
what it is. The same conversation that happens throughout last season and this season. Well, but
Though
I can't juggle it all.
this episode made me start thinking something was going to happen. Now, please don't tell me, because Amanda loves to tell me, but that Charlotte and Victor Garber, I thought they were like having something. And I thought they were leading into like, Harry can't come, so Charlotte needs to go with Victor Garber and get jizzed on her tits.
Oh, like, that's what you got out of this? I mean,
I thought that's not what I got from the entire episode, but that was what I got about when she first met Victor Garber in the episode, before they had the most excruciating anniversary dinner that lasted 12 hours. Every scene in this episode lasted 12 hours. And you know what? A common theme, like I mentioned last week. I hate to say that I'm right, but I'm right here. Every season, oh my God. Let me collect my thoughts, because when I get excited, because I know I'm right, it just gets me really excited. Amanda doesn't give a shit. She's like,
I'm listening to
really
you
good right now. I think you look good with hoops.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I love a hoop.
Me too.
Any gays.
The scenes are all too long in this.
The scenes are all too long, but the music playing under the scenes, they've decided they're just going to have the most boring sounding ass like elevator music. And I understand you're at a party or like a tea party or whatever. You couldn't put a little bit of jazzy music under it?
I watched this yesterday and I forgot all the plots in this. And then when you said the party thing, I was like, oh my God, they go back and forth between the two, like the party and then some other scene, like 100 times. It's never ending. Like, we get it. That party scene could have been in and out in like less than 5 minutes.
We did get lots of cameos though. Or lots of characters.
We did.
Well, Gloria Steinem was in it, and Victor Garber, and who else? Someone else. I was the one who took the notes, so hopefully I remember.
I took notes. I don't know why I decided to say, I had to feel the need to say that, but I did.
Wait, but you also took the notes for Broad City, right? You're leading Broad City.
I take notes for everything.
Oh, well, aren't you special?
Actually, okay, so what's funny about this is that, and probably the reason that I did feel the need to say that is I used to not take notes when me and
Uh-huh.
Jody would do TRP if she was leading. And then there was one moment like about a year ago where she seemed clearly irritated that I didn't take notes and that I just always have taken. So I think that's why I even felt the need to say it. No, I take notes
No,
on
just so you
everything.
guys know, I do. I know what's going on.
Even if I'm not leading, I take notes.
Well, I'll admit right now, like, I don't
I
take
don't care.
the
I used
notes
to
for the
be
other.
you.
If I
All right.
don't do the other episode, I'm like, fuck it. I'll just listen to what they're saying and hopefully remember. All right. So this episode, thank God. Thank you, God, that the episode Alive starts with Bobby, Lee, and Carrie having lunch
Oh
or
yeah, that's right.
breakfast.
It does. Oh, this scene, this is such a famous scene because it was so weird. It got talked about on like every
It
like
did.
Cara Berry recaps this, Heather McDonald always recaps it, that she actually is pretty funny about it. But every podcast that talks about it mentioned this. Like, what was this? Like why do we need okay, like I get having IBS, like obviously. But then Bobby Lee never comes back to the scene. He never returns to the table. So was he just blowing up that bathroom for
He
like
was just there
25
for
minutes?
the day, and like they're like, how do we get him away from the table for more than like a minute? You know, if a guy's just going to pee, then honestly the whole thing was dumb. This was such a dumb way of doing this.
Okay, but there's a reference here that okay, this I feel like this is another thing that you're gonna be like, well, that's
Is
a
it from
glitch in it.
Seinfeld?
No, it's from another episode of Sex and the City that involves Enid.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
feel like maybe like there's no way that they weren't
Okay.
referencing this, but maybe you didn't. Maybe you don't think so. All right, go ahead.
What were they referencing?
It comes up in a second here. It'll come up.
Oh, okay. So Bobby, Lee, and Carrie are having breakfast for some reason. I guess it was so Carrie could give him a signed copy of her book. And then he gets IBS from eating hollandaise sauce. And then we see Enid, which is really like, I was like, yay! But then they take fucking forever to do
Okay, so
this
here's
back and
the
forth. Like,
reference though. Enid slinks by, and this already immediately is a reference to another episode because there is an episode where they see each other in public and they are kind of forced to sit together. And in that episode, Carrie is reading a magazine, the Hello magazine. Hello.
uh-huh.
And Enid goes, Carrie goes, oh, hi, Enid. This is in Sex and the City. And Enid goes, oh, hello. And like referencing, oh, you're reading hello. And Carrie goes, hi. And Enid goes, no, hello, you're reading hello. So right here, Enid once
Okay.
again tries to slink by. And I feel like maybe I'm wrong. And Carrie, like they see each other, and Carrie goes, oh, Enid, like same thing. And Enid goes, hello. Do you not think that that was referencing that moment? It's too much the same. She says it the exact same way.
I think we'll have to listen to the commentary. Maybe, you know what you should do? I'm going to put this up to Amanda. I think she should start listening to the Sex and the and just
I
like
am
that
not listening
podcast,
to that.
the Writers Room podcast, which I'm sorry, I cannot
No,
listen to that.
Breaking Bad had a podcast like that too. That was like a like a it
What
was
were
a
we
sister
thinking when we
podcast
wrote
too. Like
this?
the episodes would drop and then they would put out an episode talking about it. And the entire episode of every podcast was just Vince Gilligan and the team being like, oh my God, our costumer was just amazing. Oh, the makeup. It was just such an amazing team. Everyone on that set was just amazing. And then this guest actor, oh, they came in and they were just so prepared. And
Uh-huh.
oh God.
Well, I think that Amanda loves to listen to. Amanda likes to have things playing all the time, where I like silence. So
Crazy.
I would love for her to listen to the accompanying podcast for this episode, Alive,
Okay. All right.
and see if that's true. Because they might be like, you know what, we
Well, they'll
thought this
definitely bring
really
it up if it's true.
well. I mean, yeah. Okay.
All right, I'll
Thank you.
listen.
Thank you
Right
for
now,
adding. If it's true.
okay, I'll see.
Um,
Right now, I'm listening to Kenan Thompson's audiobook.
Oh, I bet that's funny. I think you what if you get like hooked on the and just like that writers room podcast?
I don't think I
It's
will.
like your new binge.
But I could put together like a TikTok with both of the scenes mirroring and see maybe we can go
do it.
viral, even though we don't have a TikTok.
We do.
We do? Open that doll? I'll throw it on the open that
No,
doll.
we have a TikTok. I set it up
Oh!
like months ago and I've uploaded like 3 total videos and
Oh,
they
I
have
didn't
like
know that. I
30
probably don't even
views.
follow you. Okay, well, everyone follow us on TikTok. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
make that.
follow us on. Let me see what it. I actually don't remember what the name is, so I can't. I think it's
All right.
Hot in the City. Great. Let's get in. Let's
Yeah, let's
continue.
continue this because we
So
got a
we
long
see
time.
Enid. It's like I thought I recognized your highlights, and I'm fairly certain it was your shade, but I couldn't bring myself to say hello. Oh, why not? Well, I felt terrible about what happened to your husband, and then I was mortified that I hadn't written a condolence card. It's just this whole back and forth. We find out that and Enid comes off as a big old bitch in this episode, way bigger bitch than she ever was, I thought, in the series.
I disagree. I think that Enid is one of the most like tragic characters. Like, I don't like the downfall of her characters, although I guess it probably does ring true. But her whole trajectory was originally that she was Carrie's boss at Vogue and she was so fierce. And then, like,
Yeah.
every time Carrie runs into her, it's like a sadder and sadder situation. Like, she meets the Enid and like she's like, you have it all. And Enid says, oh, well, I'm his girlfriend. I'm my boyfriend's girlfriend from on like the like north of the park and south of the park. He has a different girlfriend. And
Yeah.
then she sets Enid up with Wallace Shawn in the Splat episode.
Oh, yeah.
So like everything about Enid's life is just so fucking depressing.
You
And
think being with
the
Wallace
same
Shawn
as
is
this.
tragic and depressing?
I would probably fuck Wallace Shawn.
See, now, I don't think I would want to fuck him, but like, but
okay. The way he's presented in that episode is to be like, oh god, this is what's out there. That's what scares Carrie into going to Paris with Petrovsky.
So I agree that her life is presented as pretty shitty as it goes like all downhill, but I also think she was a bitch in this because she right away is like, I hadn't written a condolence card, and Carrie's like, that's okay, it's okay, and she's like, the truth is I had my own death. And it was that she was fired by Condé Nast. If a bitch came up to me after my husband had died and said they had their own death and it was that they were fired from their job, I would choke the bitch out immediately. I would slap her across the face and knock some sense into her. Are you kidding?
Last year or 2 years ago on Sister Wives, right after Janelle's mom died, like pretty unexpectedly, she goes to meet with Robin, and Robin's talking about how like Christine left and the family's falling apart, and Robin says she feels like she's in mourning. And Janelle was like, she's such a dumb idiot.
I'm sure that isn't the first time Janelle has wanted to smack the shit out of Robin.
Yeah.
All right. What ends up happening is Enid has this new newsletter that I guess is like the new Goop that we've never really heard of.
Goop, but
here
for
it
like
is.
old tragic
For like 75-year-olds, I guess, except Seema. Well, it must not be.
Really. It was more just like people in the second stage of their life. Enid didn't really even present it as being like for fucking like senior citizens who need to be.
Well, there's technically two separate things. She has her newsletter currently that like Seema reads and thinks is amazing and whatever. And what she's trying to do is she's now going to start a new publication called Vivant, which means alive. Because I guess it's for seniors. And of course, guess what, guys? Carrie didn't want to talk about her dry vagina, and she doesn't want anyone to think that she is aging. Don't even try her. She's not old. She's not old.
Keeps referencing like, oh, people in our age group.
Yeah, she's
she's only 10 years older than Carrie. That's still the same age group, I'd consider, right?
No, I wouldn't put Carrie and what's her name,
Enid,
Candice Bergen in the. I wouldn't put Sarah Jessica Parker and Candice Bergen in the same category. And I don't let Sarah Jessica Parker hear you say that, because I don't think she would appreciate it very much.
I mean, I guess. Well, it's gotta be 10 years.
You know what threw me today is I looked up the cast because I was trying to figure out who the parents of LTW and I was like, these people must be someone famous. I didn't research enough to actually find it, because I was stopped in my tracks by finding out Do you know who like one of the oldest people on the show is? Of like the main characters?
I don't know. SEMA, I guess.
No.
LTW.
No.
George Washington.
Anthony.
Oh,
He's 64 years old.
he looks really good.
I was
You
like,
told me he was 48.
what?
I believe you.
Okay, I wouldn't believe that, but I would believe if
He
he
looks
was
younger
like
than Cody.
55. Well, Cody? Oh, girl.
Well, Cody's
Cody
only
looks
50.
How old is Cody?
50.
That's it?
52,
He's
maybe.
disgusting. Well, I think that Anthony, I was shook. 'Cause I was majorly shook because I was like, wait, what? He's 64? Like,
He looks
what's her
great.
Bitsy is like
Oh,
70.
she looks amazing too. God, weren't you happy to see Bitsy again?
I was, but
How much is Bitsy just me in this episode?
her storyline was the only actually fun-ish moment,
Yeah.
and the sending the dick pic at the thing. Anyway,
It's
sorry guys,
100% what
spoiler
I
alert.
used to send Nick dick pics all the time when he'd be like at church.
Me and
At his
my
church job.
that's life, babe. That's
Yeah,
life.
look, there's a dick. And it was a good dick. Also, again, Carrie, I mean, to get into it, but Carrie, second she sees Bitsy, they just had this amazing talk the other day, and it's 2 days later, and Carrie's like, "Oh God, Bitsy, God, where can I hide?"
Agreed. And
what is wrong with you?
Enid acted like such a bitch about Bitsy too, and I was like,
I know it's like this is a ray of light in
I
this
would
horrible party.
let me have a weekly lunch with Bitsy.
Yes.
Upstanding. We are here at the same place every week. Fun. Is it upstanding? I don't think that's the right
Yeah.
word.
And she's out there trying to get everyone laid. She's sharing good
That's
dick
what I'm
around
saying.
town.
Like Bitsy is like she is vivant.
Yeah,
Let me tell
it is.
you. And for Enid to act like, oh, she's a dumbass and I just want her money. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Enid pissed me
Fuck
off
you,
this
Enid.
episode. And I love Candace Bergen. I love.
By the way, at the end of the scene, I just does Bobby Lee need medical? Because he just hasn't come back yet. That like you could probably smell what's going. Like I'm sure that the smell has traveled into the restaurant at this point.
I don't really have major experience with this unless I've like eaten something I like no, I probably shouldn't. But like, isn't an IBS episode like, don't you kind of go in there, you blast it out, and you're done?
In my experience, yeah.
Like, I have a couple other friends that have IBS too, and it's like you
ready.
go in there, out.
You kind of learn how to like when it's like knocking. Like I'll know I'm kind of getting sick, but then I wait until it's ready.
Anyway,
efficiency.
Little tiny mention here that we got sidetracked, but Carrie originally had asked Enid to write a blurb for her book. Enid didn't end up doing it, and now Carrie's asking Enid if she can put her book in Enid's thing called Ask Enid, which I don't know how Ask Enid is comparing with Goop. Like Ask Enid sounds like the oldest. It sounds like an article that would have been written in the newspaper back when my grandparents were children.
Yes,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Dear Ann Landers type shit. I mean, I don't have to tell you how tough publishing. Okay. Okay. So then that's when we find out that she asks Carrie to be a part. Oh, she doesn't. Okay.
This is pretty ballsy though, because she just said, "Well, if I blurb you, I'll have to blurb everyone else." Anyway, will you come to my my event here?
Oh yes, I have to. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, Carrie, if I mentioned your book, I would have to mention everyone's book, and then and then Carrie's like, "Oh, and this I liked. Does everyone have a book?" And Enid's like, "Well, I don't." And she's like, mostly to avoid embarrassing situations like this. But here, I'm having a thought. I'm launching an online magazine called Vivant. Oh, that's French for alive, focused on women our age.
It's French for what?
Alive.
Oh, the title of the episode. It makes me think of the movie A Lie, which is a plane crash movie. So obviously,
A lie.
Alive.
It just makes me sing of that song. But alive, but alive.
I feel witty and gritty and
where am I thinking of that too? Oh, I think Lip Synca. Lip Synca.
Lip Synca did it in the Wigstock movie, and then I got obsessed with that, and then I downloaded it, and I used to listen to it on my gym mix. I listened to all of Mika, and then put that at the end. You're frozen.
Am I frozen?
Nope.
Okay. Charlotte and Harry are dropping the kids. Do you want to write the time at all?
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good, baby.
Charlotte and Harry are dropping the kids off to go to summer camp, and LTW and George Washington are there too. They're gonna work while their kids are gone, but you know what Charlotte and Harry are gonna do? They gonna fuck a lot.
They're
I
going to
guess.
Pound Town. Can you imagine being married to someone for like 20 years and then being like, I can't wait to fuck? Like they're like going to fuck.
I just don't know why they like. You're telling me you guys have
You're
no
never
time
alone,
that you can
ever.
fuck?
Yeah. Both your
'Cause
kids are like teenagers.
and do
They're
they
not-
work? Do Charlotte doesn't work necessarily,
No.
right?
And Harry can probably do most of his work from home.
I was gonna say, does Harry work still? Because we don't see Harry come home from work, do we? Maybe I'm missing.
No, not really.
Maybe I've missed something. All right. So, okay. They're like, ooh, yeah, we're gonna fuck. Let's get it down. And this is when we find out that there's gonna be an anniversary party. Hey guys, make sure that you remember, keep in your mind, they invited them in person, face to face. Because old school styles are better, guys. Trying out those newfangled Evites is just like, you know what? It's a recipe for disaster. Didn't you think that was what they were trying to say here?
I don't know what they were trying to say. I think they were just trying to do like one of those classic zany 80s plot line where it's like, I forgot though the one, or like the one thing I had to do, I fucked it up.
I'll say that would have worked if it clipped along a little bit more. You all know how I feel about the clipping. You can't have zaniness if the pacing of your show is like a death march. Like what?
Of like invitations or whatever. Can I tell you another story about Sister Wives?
Sure.
When Robin and Cody sent out their wedding invitations, they put the wrong address for the venue on all the invitations. So to counter this on the wedding day, and also the dress didn't exist. Okay, that's
on the wedding day is when they let people.
This is when they dealt with it. Yeah, I think that's when they kind of figured it out.
Like who else was even coming though, besides their 100 children?
I don't know, all the other polygamous families they know and their 100 children, but they the dress didn't exist. So Cody just drove to around where the address kind of might be, took a jar with balloons on it, and then put it just on the ground on the curb, and the jar had like a bunch of pieces of paper with the real address in it.
I at least was expecting like someone to like wait there to be like, hey, this isn't where it is.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, we find out that they've invited LTW's dad to the party.
Yeah.
Which I guess this is when we find out that the father and mother, they say, your father and my mother in the same room. Have you learned nothing from Gabby's baptism? And then he slapped her. Just kidding. Don't get upset. The kids are gone. Steve is okay. So then we cut to Daddy Steve, which, I at first was thinking of, we cut to
someone was fucking.
We cut to Miranda. Miranda in her place, her house. Remember, guys, Brady came home at the end of last episode because Louisa broke his heart. So you hear like boom, 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 boom. And I'm thinking like, I was confused at first because I'm like, what is Brady like fucking back there? I was like, what's going on?
The first time I watched this, I thought it was someone jerking off aggressively.
Oh, okay.
Maybe their arm was hitting the door behind them or something.
Yeah, or the bed.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
They were like hitting the bed frame or something. Yeah. I see. But no, Miranda goes upstairs. And there is like
this was so gratuitous, but I loved it. I was like
doing punching, like punching one of those. It's not a punching bag. It's like the
testicle.
Yeah, like the punching ball thing.
Yeah.
Now I did think he looked kind of like he had a hernia. Because one of the signs of that is your belly button like sticking out.
That's always what I think of when I think of Steve, is that he has an outie belly button.
He
And it
has
always
an
kind of
outie
freaks me
belly
out.
button, but it's bigger in this. Like it's
Oh
gotten bigger,
no.
which could mean you have a hernia. But still, I know I
Wouldn't
can't.
that like hurt? Because you know when you put your finger in your belly button, it
I
like
can't
kind
even.
of makes you want to pee. So does that, when things
Oh,
hit
does it?
your outie, does it feel, is it sensitive like that? I
I
wonder.
have never felt like I need to pee from pushing in my belly
If you
button.
push on it, but I don't like, but like that's someone said that, or maybe I read it in a
Huh.
book.
Maybe
Someone
that's
said
a girl thing though too.
it might be a girl thing. It must be a tat. But I hate the way that feels.
Well, Steve was still giving me vibes.
Oh yeah.
This is my apology. I can't remember now who it was, but if you guys remember, someone wasn't liking the
Yeah, but it's a
Steve
bit
thirst.
now. And they weren't being cunty. They were being like
They
funny.
weren't. They literally were being like, can you guys like stop because I feel like you're gaslighting me into trying to believe that daddy's like
Well, better go take a look at this scene then, because
right?
it ain't working.
Now they're probably like, oh my God, he looks like an old man, which he does look like an older man, but like, I'll call him daddy. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah. He looks
fine
good.
with it. Now I have a feeling I'd meet him in real life and he'd be like really short and probably just not really give off the vibe, but maybe he does give BDE. You never know. Ew, I hate that
Now,
term.
remember the scene, it was last season, where Miranda is going to Cleveland. Is she going to Cleveland? Doesn't
Yeah.
she gets in a cab and she's like, I'm in a fairy tale. And she's on
Yeah.
her way to PK. And then we go, and I was like, you're gonna think that the next episode is gonna address that crazy thing, but they
Oh
don't.
yeah.
See, here's another fucking example. They get in like this huge fight last episode where Miranda, once, like I said, I would have had the ick too much from her cell phone going off. But they got in that huge fight. It seemed like a breakup fight because Miranda says, "Why? Let's not end it on an icky note."
See, I hate to say that I'm right, but I did say last week that one line that Che, like that little exchange, made me feel like they weren't broken up and it was still.
Well,
like,
they're not, because here Che just texts Miranda a pic of them
fine.
in Houston, like wearing a cowboy hat. It's actually kind of a cute and non-toxic text. I will say that.
It is cute. They're holding a big like jug thing, like what are those, like a thirst buster?
Yeah,
like,
I was
and
like,
it has
oh, this
Texas
is like
on it.
a moment where it seems like they kind of have a normal relationship at all.
And I guess I guess this is all to show that like Miranda's life sucks without Che, because they're trying to imply
blowing up your whole family for this fucking loser.
Well, they're trying to imply that Steve is like horrible to be around, I guess, and that Brady is horrible. I mean, Brady
did you
is
notice
horrible.
that nothing with the hearing aid in this season yet?
Oh, Steve has. I forgot completely about that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, let's dump that story.
That's what they do most of these.
Yeah,
they dump it doesn't matter. It's
and
like
they dump Che
episode
from
to
season
episode.
3.
I'm scared to see how that's going to happen. I think there's going to be a breakup, or
no, I guarantee you it'll be 1 or 2 passing lines. Oh well, no, they're all okay. Don't worry.
Well, they're going to be at Che's living funeral.
That's true. That's true.
All right, so Carrie goes out with Seema. How do I? She's like, do I present as a 75-year-old retiree? And she's like, be honest. And Seema's like, why on earth would you ask that? And she's like, well, my former boss, who's in her like 70s, alluded to us being the same age. Not once, not twice, but thrice. The other day when I ran into her. And Seema's like, she wishes you were in her group. You're not. You're in my group. We're sophomores, not seniors. Which I'm like, okay, girl. Don't get me wrong. Oh, and she tells her to not use the word thrice. And this is when she finds out that it's Enid. All right. And then Seema has changed her tune. All right. She's like, oh my God, that woman's amazing. But now she wants me to write for her online magazine. Vivant. And then there you go. And Seema's like, if you need a magazine to remind yourself that you're alive, you've got bigger problems.
Seema has a really cool earpiece thing in. It's like an earring, but it like goes like across. It's like a big
Oh.
cross, like all the way across her ear. And then there's a really bad line reading here where Carrie's like, "I'm not old. I still have friends that call me dude." And then Seema's line is, "Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so don't let it bother you, dude." But clearly, this actress has never said the word "dude" in her entire freeborn life. She's like, exactly. Don't let it bother you, dude. She just really could not wrap her mouth around the word dude.
You know, it wouldn't shock me if Seema like actually had a British accent in real life or something.
Yeah,
I
I feel
don't
like she
think
could have a
she
Hitler.
does, but like wouldn't shock me. She carries herself with in a way that she's like fierce and fabulous in that way.
Let's
You know?
look. Can we end with this? Stop with the scene because we need to get to a Harry and Charlotte fuck fest, which I don't know if I
Um,
needed. I don't know if I needed this.
I'll say they are listening. Oh, jeez. They're listening to people's complaints that there was no sex in the first season, and now they're trying to have it be about sex again. And again, I'm not believing that they ran home because they're so desperate to fuck. And then they usually Harry comes. Okay, guys. TMI, usually Harry comes in Charlotte, but this time Charlotte was feeling so horny. She says, "You want to come on my tits?" And then Harry gets up, like on top, like standing on the bed, which is that how you, I, just is that how it works? And then he is like, oh, and then he comes and there's nothing. And, oh, that's just the worst thing, right?
Yeah, like I don't know, in my experience, guys will make like some crazy like body shapes that I'm like that makes me think that straight men aren't thinking about what they look like as much as girls do, or maybe gay
Well,
men.
yeah.
Like the positions and stuff where I'm like,
Yeah.
I can see
Honey,
you.
I walk around outside every day and I can tell you that straight men don't care as much about what they look like or how they
Yeah.
present themselves as gay men or women.
Yeah.
They like to fuck everything up and they don't care. All right. I did forget to mention that Carrie got a text from a man named Marlon Schaefer in the
Oh
last
yeah.
scene. That was
Yeah.
kind of important, kind of later. All right. So sorry. Then they have this whole bit. They're like, did he fake? He doesn't shoot anything. He's Casper the Friendly Cum.
I mean, all right. Okay.
Guys. Later, Brady makes a raging bull joke. And there's no motherfucking way
I couldn't even quote
a
Raging Bull.
20-year-old is making a raging bull
There's no
joke.
way Brady is
Get
making
the
a Raging
fuck
Bull.
out of
But,
here.
okay, so let's talk about this. Have you ever encountered this? Because I have now been with two guys. One of them was Chris, Big Dick Chris, where they'll
Don't
come.
let him
Well,
hear this.
no, he's very open about this. It's actually awesome. Chris won't come until he'll come, and then the jizz will come out like 30 seconds later. It's awesome. Oh, but the reason what for that actually now I'm remembering he had like
So like he orgasms, keeps it in you,
yeah, you have to
and
like
waits until it
you have
like.
to like coax the cum
So
out.
he like sits there. So he would sit there with his dick and you being like, okay, like
No,
for 30 seconds.
it was more just like just technical than that. Because like it's over. We both do the like we
This
both
is
have this.
I've never encountered that.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
but also he had a cyst or something like a benign is the good one, right? He had
yeah.
like something on his spine. That was the reason that happened. But it was good for me. I couldn't get
What?
pregnant. It's like better than the pull-out method because it's kind of the pull-out, but you get to
Well,
still get it in.
as we famously know, Amanda doesn't like condoms.
Oh, I'm the only person. I'm the only person that'll come out and admit it.
I personally don't. Well, okay, I do have a couple other girlfriends who like would never have sex with a condom, and I'm like, you just hook up with like. I'm not saying you hook up with random people, but like, I'm like, you just let a guy jizz in you after like a date. Like,
No,
I would be
now I'm on birth control,
fucking
so yeah.
freaked out.
But, like, when I wasn't on birth control, then it would just be, like, a pull-out, but then I do this fun thing where I'll, like I'll be like, even though I said to pull out, don't.
So
And like,
you're
are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?
what you're admitting is, like Charlotte, you're a cum pig, right?
I guess
That's what
I
you're saying?
am.
Amanda likes it,
I
baby.
agree with Carrie because they'd go and talk about it at lunch. Carrie's like, I think I would miss it if it wasn't there. And yeah, I like
Yeah.
knowing that something has happened, especially.
Yeah.
I like to know when it's over.
They think jizz-free sex sounds like an upgrade. Guess that should have been our first clue about. Oh, Miranda at lunch is like, but jizz-free sex sounds like an upgrade. And Carrie says, guess that should have been our first clue about you.
Oh my god.
And then they make a Rachel Maddow joke. I believe the clinical term is dust balls. I have no personal experience with this, either as a cummer or cummy. Oh, this is Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony.
To his friends at lunch. Now, I'm pretty open with my friends about my stuff, but like he says, I'm like a milking machine, if you must know.
Oh, okay. I guess
there is no fucking way I'd sit at lunch with you and be like, yeah, just so you know, I'm a milking machine.
That would be weird if you said that to me. Yeah, for sure.
Now, and then they make a mayo joke. Ha 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 ha. Mayo's like, come guys, ha 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 ha. And then we find out, like we have found out and put the pieces together, Charlotte's a cum slut and so is Amanda. LTW and George Washington are on a date at a bar, blah, blah, blah. He was going to run for city comptroller. Make sure you guys remember that because it's like, you know what annoys me a lot about this is they need to do these. It's like their whole intention is they set this up by being like, okay, first scene with these people. We're going to just make sure they say one sentence about this thing that is then going to come up later. Like, I guess that's how you write.
They don't trust the audience is the thing.
Yeah.
They don't trust us enough to remember things or to retain any information.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, can't we have something from the first, like maybe tie something from the first episode of this season?
Oh, no.
Everything needs to be brought up in one episode and then resolved in the same episode.
I think that they're making each episode almost as a standalone because
Yes,
they know that they're not going to keep audience members very long. And there'll be just a lot of new people dropping in each time. So they have to fill everyone with as much information as possible.
Well, great. There's a moment where then who?
That's it. We find out he's going to run for comptroller.
Yes, they go to the he was going to. Okay, he was going to, guys. At this point in the episode, he was going to because he cares so much about his family and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
which I get it, but then they go to the doctor, Charlotte and Harry.
Did you like the hilarious bit of the doctor eating? Like, okay, like the doctor.
I wrote this down and it pissed me off.
Like, this isn't funny. They only put this in because they thought it was funny, but it's not funny. And honestly, I would be like, I would prefer if you didn't eat right now. Like this
was to fill run time, Amanda.
Oh my god, it was not funny.
Here's my impression. Here, guys. It's like, everything is going great for you two. Ooh, this power bar. Oh, it's been a busy day. I've got low blood sugar. Rip, 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 rip. You just had a dry orgasm.
And he's like,
the fuck?
You had dry orgasm. And I'm like, you're eating a power bar. He's talking as if he's eating like a meatball sub.
Also,
in his mouth.
I don't even think that power bars are like manufactured anymore, are they? Who eats power bars?
I have not.
Michael Patrick King ate them back in 1985. Yeah, we get it, guys.
That was the thing.
But like,
here, he says like you need to do some kegels, and Harry, a high-ranking New York attorney with several degrees,
no idea,
has never heard of the word kegel and thinks that he means kegel, the dessert.
You know, they were like, okay, well, doctors recommend Kegels. You know, it'd be so great. Kegel. Duh.
Oh,
that was the first idea. They wrote it on a Post-it and were like, Kegel plus
Everyone has heard of the word Kegel. Good Lord. Well, anyway, now we have this hilarious.
Maybe he doesn't watch TV.
Like, this scene again was also to be like, look how zany these two are, and I hated this scene. It's not funny. Charlotte's overdoing it. Harry's
Hey,
fine.
I actually think what was happening here, Amanda, who loves references. Now, don't you think that they were referencing back to the episode with the lingam massage? They weren't,
Maybe.
but the
I
only way
mean,
they are is Harry's
you
laying
can
on the floor
convince
with a
me. Yeah.
pillow, and Miranda, Charlotte's like rubbing his taint area, like feeling like things. Then she has him touch her vagina to feel that she does lots of kegels. Okay. And she does them 3 times a day.
I,
Three
which,
sets of
no, you
10,
don't.
3 times a day.
Girl, no, you don't. And also, I don't believe that she'd be wearing running shoes inside her house on the carpet.
I also
It really
fail to
bothered me.
believe that, like, is Charlotte like really thinking like, oh God, got to keep my pussy tight?
I don't know. She's very much a Sheena, so I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, actually, you're
Charlotte's very
right.
Sheena.
Yeah.
You with
No, I
Sheena.
am no, I would never. I like Charlotte too much to call her a Sheena. Sorry. Sheena is awful.
No, Sheena is awful.
Like awful. So Harry's whining. Okay, yeah. Then we go to, thank God we got this scene. Thank God. Brady, Steve, and Miranda in therapy. They're talking about breaking up. Now I kind of get this this
But
idea
why
because
were they in his therapy sessions about his breakup with his girlfriend?
no,
Why
I
were the
think
parents
it's
also in there?
I think it was more the idea that his frustration is also manifesting that his parents are breaking up, but they're not being open, they're not being like
Yeah.
real about it. They're pretending they're, which is annoying. I get that. I get
He's also
that.
21, so like,
Well,
yeah.
he's like, you're up there like raging bull. I can barely sleep and I'm heavily medicated. And Miranda's like, you're not heavily medicated. He's like, okay, then give me more. Which I liked that part, but
That was fine.
you're saying like, I wouldn't know that maybe that it's a straight person thing. Do straight 20-year-olds know that?
Well, then Brady goes, well, just so you guys know, I'm not going to go to college in the fall. Which, if I said that, my parents would be like, then you're out of the house by the end of the week. I mean, it would not. I would never even think about saying that to my parents.
I don't. And his reason for not wanting to go is,
oh, he just needs to find himself. It's just too much. It's like, no, you're fucking lazy and you don't want to go to college. I see what you're doing here. It's a very Amanda move.
I think if your parents are going to pay it, which obviously they are, and they're going to completely support him to do it, he should just do it.
Yeah, just go.
Therapist says they should move. All right, Brady isn't going to start college. Miranda's shook. She's like, he's like, I know you want to say something. And she's like, I have nothing to say. Hard cut, elevator dings. I have so much to say. I don't even know where to start. This is Brady. This is not a kid who self-motivates. And Steve is just sitting there like it's totally chill that our son is just totally chill. You're telling me Miranda is saying, and Steve is just sitting there like it's totally chill. Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
I actually liked this conversation because Miranda's like, well, I'm not allowed to say anything because I'm the bad one. It's the silent agreement that Steve and I co-signed. He's not allowed to punch me in the face and I'm not allowed to take up any more space than the couch because I'm the one that blew them up. And then, so that was true. I mean, that is kind of, but also, Miranda, because sometimes there are consequences to doing really insane things.
Well, it seemed like a really strange, like, if we think back, it seemed like a strange lead up to being like, well, I guess, see, that's where the hard part is. They say that they try and imply here that Che doesn't like men, or not Che, but that Miranda doesn't like being with men anymore. But technically, like, Che's non-binary, so they're like, aren't they everything?
Well, I think Miranda, didn't she already say, or maybe she says it in another episode, but like, it's not, I guess it's not about the man or woman, it's just Che, which leads me to be like, what? Then that makes no sense.
That makes less sense, actually. Yeah, that makes less sense because if I would be more, oh gosh, someone's gonna come for us, and we are gonna lose a subscriber here. But I would be more on board if it was like, I'm a lesbian. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like it's being with a man, whatever. Like I can't. But just like, oh, you punch the punching bag over and over and you do it hot and sweaty, like, and looking hot. Like, anyway, whatever. I do love Che. Miranda wants, okay, so then cut to, speaking of, I guess Che's back in New York.
Okay, let's talk about this. Has bought a apartment on Hudson Yards. Their pilot has not even aired yet.
They don't even show the ending of the filming of the pilot. No. There's no cut of like Tony Danza gone. Like, because what?
They're in a future episode, they go back to LA to do like not screen testing, but like focus groups about the so it has not aired. There has been no guarantee this is getting picked up, and they have bought an apartment on Hudson. Maybe they're renting it. But okay. Either way, this is what a horrible money decision to make.
Well, what we find out kind of from Lyle, who's there through some of this, is that Che has basically had like a huge comedy career since like the 90s or something. That was what they were implying, is he had cut her hair. Okay, so all right. Che got a bunch of shit, and they're basically in the middle of an IKEA commercial because there's literally 50 million IKEA boxes.
Yeah,
Lyle's there.
Carrie and Miranda are going to see Che's new digs, basically.
Yes. If we forget, Lyle was the one who picked up Miranda in the old vintage truck. Please keep that in mind. Vintage restored truck.
Yeah,
picked up Miranda.
Lowrider.
Yeah. Guess what? Well, Miranda wants Che to show her the bedroom. Oh God. Okay.
Dude, I took a video of this because Carrie has like come all the way to Hudson fucking Yards. She doesn't know Lyle. Who the fuck is Lyle? And now Miranda and Che are like, hey, how are you? Oh my God. Why don't you show me the bedroom? And they're like making out in front of them, and Carrie's like,
the kissing is gross and annoying, but like I'd understand that if you had not seen your partner. But be like,
how long has it been? A week? 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, it really has been like what, a day? 0 days.
Miranda just went back early.
If they want us to believe Che filmed the pilot yesterday, finished filming it yesterday, and is now in New York. They didn't make any real passage of time. Anyway. But
I guess Miranda moved across the country with the guy, because we learned that because they go in the room, start making out, and we get this expository thing where Che's like, I can't tell Lyle to leave because he, after all, he did pick me up in LA. And then like,
which I'm sorry, again, I don't think we've spent enough time dwelling on the idea that they're in the bedroom, like making out and fucking. Well, like they closed the door even. This wasn't like, oh, let me see your new bedroom. Cool.
It
was like, goodbye, I'm going to finger bang you. Well, like my friend is in the living room.
Carrie's like, don't take too long in there. And they're like, oh, we won't. It's like, oh, they're fucking right there now. Like, this is so rude. I hate this.
It also definitely felt very young, like something you would do in high school or college, not something you would do when you're close to 60, but you never know. Miranda wants Che to show her the bedroom to fuck. Carrie and Lyle stay in the living room. They're kind of flirting. We find out that he was a hairdresser. I can't remember if we found that in the last episode, but they talk about it. And this is the part that drove me crazy. I'm a vintage car enthusiast. I love them. I one day would like to have like a vintage car and my other, like my day-to-day car. They imply that he has driven Che across the country.
3,000 miles, stopped at IKEA.
In this like 1960s truck that has been redone. I don't think that would work.
Maybe no. Did they say they took his truck though?
Yes, Che said we loaded up his truck. He brought his truck because he had it. Like they implied that they loaded up his truck, which he said, this is my truck in the last episode. This whole
the purple lowrider.
Implication is that they took this truck across the country from LA to the, what is it? Hudson Yards. Hudson Yards. Jesus. We find out then that that Lyle did Che's hair, the big haircut that Che
Lyle
got.
was a hairdresser in LA.
And that she got, or God, mother effing, I'm really sorry. They got the haircut because they were in a comedy show and they told them to cut their hair. And so they went in and met Lyle and they got married. And then there's a funny bit where the IKEA couch breaks. Then it's Lisa. Oh, go ahead.
Can we just do the George Washington LTW thing right now and just get in and out of it? Like do it as a chunk and then just finish Che? Or do you really want to go back and forth? Because this goes back and forth, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like, do you just want to wrap up the LTW?
I'll blast through what I say here. Lisa Todd Wexley's anniversary party. Mother Wexley is early. Victor Garber shows up as gallery owner, and LTW's dad comes. Carrie's talking to Victor Garber. No, Charlotte's talking to Victor Garber, and Lisa's father, Mr. Lawrence Todd, is a renowned playwright and poet and founder of the New Work Free Theater. The dad's gonna die.
But why would like all those people be at that?
Because it's the Newark Free Theater, and that is where the funeral is.
Oh my God!
Guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, we have been like hypothesizing for weeks because we saw some photos that they're filming and just like that season 3, everyone in black, and they were filming as though something was happening in front of the Newark Free Theater. And now we're finding out that he is the founder of the Newark Free Theater.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So, are you like my son-in-law here, who's a highly paid centurion to the great god of Wall Street? Not exactly. So then we find out Harry says he's a divorce lawyer. LTW and GW forgot to send the invites. So Victor Garber actually has to stay. He was just going to have a drink. Che's in bed reminiscing about old times. They used to be poly pioneers.
They're all 4 on the bed, smoking pot and drinking wine. And I just feel like I can almost smell the scene. Or like I can it feels just hot.
This feels out of character for new Carrie.
Yes.
Well, they have a talk about how Lyle, that Che was the first person to peg Lyle. Then we find out that Charlotte sends Harry to talk to LTW's mother-in-law. Charlotte flirts with Victor Garber, I kind of thought.
No, I think he's gay.
In the show, it says he has a daughter.
Oh,
which can happen.
So
it's not like gay people don't end up coming out later. Charlotte, so he's getting texts. She ends up texting for him. And then LTW's dad stands up. He's like, at the anniversary party, he's like, I'd like to make a toast to my beautiful daughter, Lisa, and her magnificent film that I've just been told is in the Tribeca Film Festival. And that's his toast. And they're like, he does know it's our anniversary, right? Okay. Lyle is asleep in Che's bed. Miranda wants Che to move him so she can eat Che out. Then Victor Garber ends up asking Charlotte to work for him. LTW for this. This literally does jump back and forth.
Yeah.
LTW forgot to order the cake. Mama is pressed. Yeah. Well, things are a little different now. I have my own career, and I had mine. I was a concert pianist, and when I became a mother, my priorities changed.
I don't think I get along very well with this bitch.
No, she's so far she is awful, and that's why I want her to be the one who dies and not Daddy. He's nice. I love him, and he sticks up for his daughter.
This is literally how my grandmother looks and talks to me. She was in town all weekend for this baby shower, and it was just drama the whole weekend because she kept saying racist shit and awful. But I can just feel the vibe when we're in a room together that she is just looking at me
unmarried,
perfectly
no
good
children,
womb, wasted womb. I know that's what she's thinking. She's
living there in that big house all alone.
Yep, no man.
Those animals.
She hates the animal. I was showing everyone pictures of the puppy, and she was just like,
Well, LTW's dad bitch slaps her back, basically. He's like, well, Mrs. Wexley, just because you let your dream wither away doesn't mean my daughter has to.
Bravo, sir.
He's like, Lisa Todd is an artist. And I love how he just says Lisa Todd. He doesn't say Wexley. He says Lisa Todd is an artist. She's putting beauty and ideas into the world rather than just praying to the almighty dollar like your son here. Which,
Why are you bringing me into this? But also, I feel like there must be animosity between the dad and George Washington a little bit, because I'm sure there's been years and years of being like, why don't you like stand up for my fucking daughter?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that this has been a constant ongoing thing.
Well, we kind of also hear, maybe I've missed it, but George Washington's real name is Herbert.
Yeah, I did write that down too. I was like, oh, Herbert, who knew?
Thank you for the compliment, Daddy, but Herbert is concerned with lots of things that have nothing to do with money. Really, he could have fooled me. Name one project that he's working on that doesn't revolve around profit. And this is where that comptroller thing comes back, because Lisa, LTW, is like, you know what, bitch? Herbert's running for city comptroller. And he's like, what? And then basically, there we go. And so that was a checkmate, and I'm guessing that's what the rest of the season's going to be about.
Yeah. So anyway, that's.
Or are they going to drop it after this episode?
I honestly don't remember, but I do know that Charlotte working for Victor Garber is obviously going to be like a huge story.
So then we go back to.
This is another. I mean, in a series of final straws in this relationship.
Final straws from who? On whose end in this one?
Miranda, I feel like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
I don't understand why they've all decided that the three of them need to sleep in bed together. So, guys, if you haven't watched, if you're just listening along, it's like zooms out on it's Che and Miranda in bed. Okay, you really just see them, and Che's like starts to reach over and touch Miranda because they're like in bed spooning, and then you see that Lyle's behind them. Now I've had an experience like this before, but I was, I think, 20.
Were you Miranda, or were you Lyle, or were you Miranda?
No, someone else was the Lyle, and I was the Miranda.
I've definitely
or
been
Che,
the Miranda
and we didn't stop. We just
no, me neither.
And Lyle was not involved.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, me too.
Asleep.
I
have many times. Anyway,
you like it?
Again, I've said before,
like a lot of work.
I'm fine with a threesome if I am in the middle. I'm not. Right. I would never be a couple and have someone join.
I would just want it to be over.
No, I like it. It's like extra hands, extra things all over. It's nice. Anyway. Continuing. What do they call that? Your media, what's that, like your digital footprint? There we go.
Yeah.
So Che and Miranda are like starting to finger, and then Lyle starts to like join in, and Che just acts like, ooh, like Lyle touches Che, and Che's like, ooh.
Would you not be total? I'd be like, you're still, I'm already wrapping my head around the fact that you didn't tell me you've been married to a man, and now you're like, is you cool with this? Like, it was like almost verging on gaslighting the way she was.
It was absurd. The whole situation was absurd. I don't think that there's a problem with having sex with whoever you want. Che should continue having sex with whoever they want. But you're so enthralled and wrapped up in Miranda, and the second someone from your past touches your thigh, you're ready to just risk it all and be done.
Wouldn't your mind be like, were you fucking the whole drive across here?
That is exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, so they've been sleeping in the same bed at all the hotels and just kind of like feeling it out.
Probably, but you know that Che has set it up to be like, well, I'm not your girlfriend. So Che's already set it up perfectly for themselves.
Is it?
Like, well,
is it set up perfectly though?
Well, here's another thing is that Miranda now, I'll give her credit for this, actually takes a second to be like, am I cool with this? Like, initially, I don't think I am, but maybe I should try. And then Che should be on her fucking hands and knees being like, oh my gosh, like, thank you for actually like taking a moment to maybe consider
this. Was absurd. I don't believe Miranda would do this either.
Che goes to Miranda, well, it's getting less and less hot the more you talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So like basically saying, stop processing your feelings, shut up, and like put your fingers in my pussy.
And then Miranda reaches over and grabs Lyle's ass as though to say, I will be pegging that. And there we go. And Che and Lyle are feeling it. Miranda's like the add-on, basically. Like
It's 100% how I
Che
would
and
feel if I
Lyle
was in a
start,
threesome.
but it literally becomes
What do I
Che
do?
gets on top of Lyle, and then Miranda's like trying to get on top of Che. It wasn't funny. I'm only laughing
I
because
felt
I'm like,
embarrassed for her, for
it was
Miranda.
weird.
Like,
and then Miranda has an old lady moment, I guess. She's like, Charlie horse, oh. And then
Miranda's like, you two continue. I'll just go out here on the couch. This is the most toxic ass. How can Miranda look at this and be like, this is what I wanted my life to be?
It's because Miranda can't possibly think of the idea of a sexy daddy punching a punching bag in their like 2 floors away from her during the middle of the day. Oh my God. What a thought. Okay. Over it. Seema and Carrie are on the phone. Carrie is headed to Vivant. Seema is trying to convince her to work. That Enid's just a work contact, not a gal pal, whatever. I'll do what I can, do more. You need this for your book sales.
Yes, Steve says, don't be afraid to be transactional. So
there is a minorly funny moment here where Carrie is like on her phone with Seema and she's like, and Seema's like, okay, you need this for your book sales. Just don't get in any photo near women with walkers. And then literally Carrie opens the door and there's a photographer at the door. What just happened?
I just realized that since I left and came back, the settings unclicked for touch up my appearance, and that's why that's it. Because I'm like, why do I look so ugly right now? It's because of that. Now I can't.
You don't look ugly.
Thanks, Joan.
God, you're beautiful, and actually, women would kill to look like you at your age.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
I didn't mean that in a bad way or backhanded way or whatever, but like literally.
Thanks.
Girl, you've done nothing to this, and keep it that way.
Yeah.
Keep it that way. Anyway, I thought this moment was funny.
Yeah.
Because literally the second Carrie walks in through the door, they're like, ladies, can I get a photo? And it's 2 women like with walkers, like who look like basically 100
Yeah,
years
it was
old.
just a bunch of sight gags. And then there was basically like the roll that must have slipped out of my hands, because there's this moment where this woman is trying to walk up the stairs and she's just in a kind of her element. She's working through it, and Carrie's like, do you need any help? And she goes, do I look like I need help?
Yeah.
This is me to AT. This is the whole trip when I went to Yorkton for my grandma's 90th. This was me the whole time at the airport, just struggling and in pain, and like it's awful. And then Ron the whole time being like, do you help their kid? Do you help? You want some help? And I'm like, I'm fine. God.
You should get a medical transport next time.
I could. I'm eligible for all of
Probably.
that.
So, okay, lots of things happen here. We see Gloria Steinem, then Carrie's talking to Enid, and Enid drops a little pill here that maybe could have been a clue to Carrie, something that happens later. They're like, and we see Bitsy. Bitsy's at the party. Bitsy's like, Carrie, hello.
Carrie's like, oh.
Actually, it's more Enid, I thought. Enid's like, oh. And Carrie's like, oh, Bitsy von Muffling. And this also drops a little hint because Enid's like, oh, yeah, just tangentially through my boyfriend. Yes. She's only here because she has deep pockets. And then Carrie's like, oh, like, they talk, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what this afternoon.
And you know what, John? I figured out that my next pet will be named Bitsy von Muffling.
I actually love that.
Good?
Really good.
I'm always on the search for like a new good pet name that's a first and last name. And Bitsy von Muffling sounds like an animal name already.
It really does.
It's such a fucking classic character. Anyone who gets that reference, that's your type of person.
And I think just to call the dog Bitsy, that's cute. Oh my God.
Well, and then when they're in trouble, it's Bitsy von Muffling. Like Walter White.
Or BVM.
BVM.
Just like the show loves to cut him down. All right, Enid talks. Ladies, welcome. I think this may be the greatest gathering of female minds since Eleanor Roosevelt had dinner at the White House.
You skipped the whole thing there where...
I know I did, because I started to be like, all right.
Bitsy says, Carrie, what did you think of the dude that I've been texting you? Carrie's like, oh, that's from you, because this random guy's been texting Carrie, and Carrie hasn't thought to text back or anything.
She's like, well, I just thought you were, when I saw you, you just seemed so sad, and I just wanted, thought I'd just pass something along to you. right?
Right. And she's like, I used to, this was the best sex I ever had other than Bobby. Once Bobby died, this guy got me out of my rut. And then Carrie, we talked about this last time where Carrie's like, I was always under the impression that Bobby is gay. And Bitsy's like, oh, he was. That's what made him try so
Okay,
hard.
I wasn't going to skip that. That was next.
Oh.
The best sex I've had since Bobby. I mean, of course, no one could please me in bed like my Bobby. Oh, so attentive to my needs. Mr. Broadway loved his ladies. And Carrie's like, Carrie shocked me here, actually, because she's like, my head is spinning. I was always under the impression that Bobby was gay. You don't say that to
this is still his
Are
wife.
you kidding?
His widow now.
And Carrie's just like, oh, I just thought he was gay, right? Like, now that he's dead, I can obviously just like, what? Yeah. That would that not offend his wife?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Well, she was, and this is why Bitsy would be the one that I want to be fucking friends with, because she's like, he was, that's why he tried so hard. And god damn it, this bitch has money, and you know it. You know she goes to like have amazing lunches at places
she
and then
goes
shopping. I love her. She's like, I love a challenge. Clearly unfinished business with my father. Which is pretty funny. So Bitsy has daddy issues, and that's why she got with Mr.
Maybe
Broadway.
her dad's gay.
Probably. A fun home situation. Oh, you know me. I love a challenge. Clearly Oh, Bitsy, I do appreciate it. Really, I do. But I'm doing much better. But don't be hasty. Ladies around town call Marlon the human tripod because it's like he has 3 legs. So when
And then Carrie's like, oh, I need to go get something way over there. And it's like, why wouldn't you want to stay in this conversation? You want to go talk to that old bitch that yelled at you on the stairs?
Exactly.
This is the conversation I want to be in. Like, tell me more about this huge dick.
Yeah, I'd be like, let me see it.
Obviously, that's the thing you'd explain.
Foreshadowing there.
Yeah.
She goes and talks to Gloria Steinem, which I was like, Gloria Steinem was willing to be in this, but okay. Gloria Steinem's talking. So when Enid told me about
I don't know how thrilled she was. I don't know Gloria Steinem, but she's like, hello everyone, I'm Gloria Steinem.
I kind of liked her acting in this though, because she seemed like real, and like they did 1 or 2 takes with her, and everyone else seems so fucking fake. All right. True. So Gloria Steinem. So maybe the new frontier is aging. This is our new frontier, and you are it, folks. We live longer than men, which we don't mean to do, actually. But for all of us, men and women, with our much longer life expectancy in this world, I think we're beginning to see all kinds of new possibilities. And the more we understand that, the more we stop being divided by age and race and culture and gender. And then ding, Carrie opens her phone, and it's like a huge, like soft dick, which
it was huge.
Soft. I was like
that was like Mr. Cocky.
Which I've had this moment where you're in a place where like you definitely don't need to be getting a dick pic, and then you're like, oh, okay. And it's pretty funny because then she looks over at Bitsy, and Bitsy's like,
see, that's me.
I know.
I am Bitsy.
Hard cut to Charlotte jerking off Harry. And then they have a resolution with that. He comes, I guess.
Oh yeah, I just wrote here that I think the writers forgot to wrap up that storyline, and this was filmed like this was a pickup scene.
Because it lasts 2 seconds. She's like jacking off Harry, and it's like, oh yay, you came again. Carrie thanks Gloria Steinem. She's like, I almost didn't come today because I thought that maybe I didn't quite belong. It's all blah blah blah.
She said, I'm battling my own deep-seated ageism, and Gloria Steinem said, oh, it's all a construct, and you're only as old as you feel, all that shit.
They asked to take a photo together.
Well, Enid comes over and Carrie says, I would be thrilled to write for Vivant. And Enid's like, that's not why you're here. You're here to write $100,000 check. And now Carrie gets a pic with Gloria and Enid. And Enid's like, let me see that picture because I've been burned before. And she's scrolling through Carrie's phone and sees the dick pic. And this is also unbelievable. I guess maybe more believable if the dick is that big, but her reaction was also a little too small. She's like, Carrie, why do you have my boyfriend's dick in your phone?
The actual unrealistic part is that in order for Carrie to be able to, like, I have an iPhone. If you took 2 photos and then looked at them in your photo situation, that dick pic wouldn't be in there because unless Carrie saved it. That means Carrie saved the dick pic and
true.
added it to her camera roll
Oh my
because
gosh, you're
you
right.
wouldn't scroll through to a dick
You'd
pic
have
from
to
a
hit the
text.
square with the arrow on it. Maybe she did that. I would immediately save that.
You wouldn't. Well,
it would be in your
anyway.
camera roll if you hit the button, but she didn't.
So they're like, so then Enid's like, what if I put you in, ask Enid, how much would you be comfortable invested? And she's like, Enid, I'm heading out. Forgive me for asking. And Carrie's like, would you mind terribly being in a photo with Enid and me? I would love that. They take a picture with Gloria Steinem. Enid swipes to the dick pic. Why would you dating? Blah, blah, blah. I would never date a man that old, but I would. So let's circle back to what we were talking about before. Before you called me old. So how much did you say you wanted? So I kind of didn't understand this.
And then Carrie's like, I don't have my checkbook. And Enid's like, PayPal works. So, I mean, it was just a transactional thing. I like the way
yeah, but Carrie thought that Bitsy sending her a dick pic, which then is on her phone, and then Enid sees the dick pic, that's going to cost you $100,000.
Well, she also called her old, I guess. I think it's from that phone call.
She is kind of old.
Did you like the last line?
I fucking hated it. And just so it's like, I don't think I have my checkbook with me today, but PayPal works. Okay, yeah. I don't use PayPal so much. So ding, ding, ding. And just like that, Enid and I became PayPals. I think this is probably the worst one I've heard.
Yeah, that's the worst one.
Like, what is that? So, like, so they're implying that Enid's going to be in the rest of the season and Carrie's just going to give her money?
No, I think it was just a hilarious quip on the word PayPal.
Girl, you're using the word hilarious a little too loosely there. Guys, so this was a shit show, but somehow it rectified. Like, the internet is, knock on wood, working right at this moment. We're about to jump right in and do our Patreon episode too. So I hope that maybe you guys could go join patreon.com/podinthecity. Remember, this week we're doing Broad City, baby, and we're gonna have a whole conversation about stuff. Anyway, patreon.com/podinthecity. Also, if you're watching us, hit like, hit subscribe, comment, all that shit. And if you're one of our listeners through the podcast places, we love you.
Yeah, and make sure you join our weekly roundups every Wednesday.
Yes.
4 p.m. And especially today, if you're on Patreon, or 2 days ago, check out the one from 2 days ago. You'll get to see me in Joan's costume, which will be just
possibly iconic. Frightening.
Instant. Well, yeah, definitely frightening.
But I'm nervous, but we'll see. All right. We love you guys so much.
Bye. Should we play music? Yeah.